Hello everyone. Now in the previous sessions we have discussed about the water pollution, then we have discussed about the air pollution, their sources, characteristics of the pollutants, their effects on the human health as well as on the environment, and then we have discussed how to control this water pollution as well as the air pollution. Now we are going to discuss about the soil pollution. So what is soil pollution? Contamination of soil by human and natural activities which may cause harmful effects on the living organisms. So contaminations, it means some impurities are present in the soil. So due to these impurities, due to these pollutants, there may be a harmful effect or adverse effect on the human as well as in the natural activities. So that process is called as soil pollution. And these contaminants or the impurities are called as soil pollutant. The soil pollutants mainly composed of the organic mineral matter, that is approximately 45%, organic matter 5%, soil water 25%, and soil air 25%. So this is the composition of the soil components in the soil pollution. Now from this table we can understand what are the parameters, their sources and their adverse effect on the human being or on the environment. So industrial waste is one of the parameter for the soil pollution. So industrial pollutants are mainly discharged from the various origins such as pulp and paper mill. So this is one of the major source. Then oil refineries, then sugar factories, distilleries where distillation process is there, where we are going to separate the different components from the liquid mixtures, and generally we are producing the alcohol based or alcohol derivatives. And fertilizer industries, tanneries means which is related to the leather or rubber manufacturing industries from the natural source or from the skin of animals. Then textile industries, steel industries, coal industry, pesticide industries, coal and mineral industries, engineering industries, cement industry, glass industry, and petroleum industries. So these are the different and specific industries where from the major source of these industrial pollutants are formed. So this is the industrial waste which can be generated and can be mixed with the soil. What are the effects of these industrial waste? The affect and alter the chemical and biological properties of the soil. So the natural properties of this soil is disturbed and the biological as well as the chemical properties of the soil is going to change. And that is why we are normally testing this soil nowadays on a regular basis. So the pH of soil, the acidity and the alkalinity of soil, etc. are the different parameters which we are going to test whether the pH, acidity, alkalinity or other parameters are within the range or not. Then enter into the human food chain from the soil or water. So some contaminants or some pollutants are having the characteristics that they are going to mix with the crops. They are going to mix with these foods and this food is going to enter into the human body through the digestion systems. So that is the major concern of these soil pollutions. Basically, if you are talking about the pesticides, so some of the pesticides are having the characteristics that these pesticides are mixed with the food and these pesticides are going to enter into the human food chain from these foods or these crops. Then urban waste, that is from the garbage and rubbish material like plastic, glass, metallic cans, paper, rubbers, street sweepings, fuel residues, leaves, containers, abandoned vehicles, etc. So these are the different sources and the examples of this urban waste. So these waste get disposed of on soil, which lead to the soil pollution. So we can easily understand these urban waste from our day-to-day observations in the urban area as well as in the village area nowadays. Then the next one is agricultural practices. So due to the use of fertilizers, that is NPK, nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium contaminants, then pesticides, which are the toxic and poisonous chemicals used to kill these pests in the agricultural activities, then herbicides to kill the herbs, these are the toxic and poisonous chemicals again, and the farm waste, that is agricultural waste after completion or satisfying the products from the agriculture, then manure, slurry and the debris. So these are the different waste or the soil pollutants from the agricultural practices. So the effect is mainly on the soil, and the biological as well as the chemical properties of this soil is going to change, and which is directly affect on the fertility of the soil and indirectly affect on the human body or the animal body by the consumption of these foods or the crops which is come from this soil which is already polluted. Then radioactive pollutants is one of the parameters, and the sources are from the nuclear sources again, that is explosion of the nuclear testing and laboratories and the industries. So sometimes we have to use this radioactive material for different activities, that may be in the industries for some research work and in some of the laboratories for some testings. Even in the day-to-day life we are using the X-rays, then gamma rays, etc., and all these are nothing but the radioactive sources. So these pollutants are called as radioactive pollutants, and which may come from the nuclear dust as well as from the radioactive waste. So these nuclear waste penetrate the soil and accumulate, giving rise to land or soil pollutions. So some of these radioactive substances or the sources of these radioactive pollutants are going to penetrate this soil and contaminated this soil, that is called as soil pollutions, which can adversely affect on our human health as well as on the environmental parameters. Then biological agents like human, animal and bird excreta, then heavy applications of these manures and digested sludge. So these are the different sources for these biological agents which can damage to the plant. So these are the different parameter sources and their adverse effect on the soil. So how to control these soil pollution? So there are different guidelines for controlling the soil pollution. Soil erosion can be controlled by a variety of forestry and farm practices. Example, planting the trees on barren slopes. So which can reduce the soil pollution or which can reduce the direct contact of these types of sources, which is called as anthropogenic activities, so that the burden or the soil erosion activity can be reduced. Then proper dumping of unwanted materials. So if you dump, if you collect or if you treat or if you landfill some unwanted material like solid waste, which can be controlled by the municipal corporation with the help of solid waste management side. In some of the solid waste can be treated by the biological waste treatment side, that is a biological waste or hospital waste, and some of the waste can be controlled or uh, can be discarded from the utilizations in the daily life. So that is why some rules and regulations are added from 2016 onwards. That is, plastic rule is one of the example. Then some ozone layer depletion rule is also there, and some other rules and regulations to control the environmental pollutions are also there. So Then another activity is production of natural fertilizers, because nowadays we are using the mixed fertilizer, that is artificial fertilizers manufacturing in the chemical industries, and the percentage of these fertilizers are different one, and we are using these artificial fertilizers. So if you reduce these artificial fertilizer utilizations and if you use the natural fertilizers, then obviously in the natural way these fertilizers are going to decompose in the soil. If the proper hygienic conditions are maintained, then the soil pollution is going to control. If the public is knowing about these soil pollution, their adverse effects, then the food chain activities, then food digestions or the pesticides and some other soil contaminants can be digested by the public or the animals, then all these adverse effects can clearly gives us the message how to control this soil pollution, and the public awareness is the main criteria where you can give the knowledge or pass on these sources or the control measures for this soil pollution. Then recycling and reuse of the waste. So again, the 7R principle, what we have discussed in the earlier session, that these 7R can be utilized to control all types of waste, and the main focus is on the recycling and reusable waste. Then ban on toxic chemicals, ban on pesticides like DDT, BSC. Some of the ban on some of the chemicals have already done, and some ban of some of these toxic chemicals may be in the future. So by banning these toxic chemicals or by banning this pesticide, we can control the pesticide contents or pesticide contamination in the soil. If you take the example of Punjab, then you can understand whatever the requirement of the pesticide is there, near about 2 to 4 multiple pesticides are utilized by the farmers in that Punjab, and that is why the cancer patients are more in the Punjab as compared to other state. Thank you.